is quadratic graphs. Okay, so you can see we've moved on from what we were doing before, from all the probability stuff, to a brand new section. Okay, so here we're going to be doing number one, and we're plotting these graphs. Okay, but given we're in lockdown, actually plotting them on graph paper and stuff is tricky. So all we're going to do, which is the key bit, is making sure we understand how to get the coordinates that we would plot, and then when we're back at school we can actually, another year, we can actually just practice the actual plotting of the graph. But that's the easy bit. Today we will be doing the key bit. So let's just have a quick reflection on the various types of graphs we know so far. So a linear graph means a straight line. Okay, and that's where we've got used to the idea of y equals mx plus c. Okay, so that's sort of our starting point with all of those, if you remember. So we might have a graph which is y equals 3x plus 2, for example. And I don't know if you can remember, but that would mean that it crosses the y-axis at 2. And it was quite steep with a gradient of 3. So over the past we have done quite a bit of linear graphs. You may have forgotten, but it will come back to you quickly when we do them. Now quadratic graphs, these are when we've got some x squareds involved. Okay, so on the linear graphs, with linear graphs, I'm just waiting for to catch up for what you're seeing with my bit in red. For linear graphs, you always just have x's in it, not x squareds. For quadratic graphs, you have x squareds in it. So for example, you could be plotting y equals x squared plus 6x plus 4. So now the shape of a quadratic graph is always a smiley face or a sad face. So if it's got a positive x squared, which one colour? If it's got a positive x squared, like the one above, then it's going to be a smiley face. If it was, for example, a negative x squared, the other bits don't matter, but if we had a negative x squared, then it would be a sad face. Now either way, what I want you to, the key learning points, okay, hence why on our title, we didn't really dwell on it too much, I was doing those ripples, is that these are symmetrical. Okay, so for every value over here, it's the y value is repeated on that side. For every value here, the y value is repeated on that side. So all these values go in pairs. So there's a really good cheat when you are trying to plot these points. You're looking out for that symmetry. You're looking out for symmetry in the y coordinates. Okay, they've got the same y coordinates. That is the same y coordinates. Not the x coordinate, the y coordinates are the same. So symmetry is the rule of the game. Now, two examples. Okay, now with this example one, all right, we're being asked to complete the table of blah, 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 blah. Now, first thing to note, it is a positive x squared. So in your mind, you know this is going to be a smiley face. Now, in the y values, look out for any symmetry that's already there. Do that to start with. Now, look, that -1 is repeated. Go and put in a ripple. Go and put in a ripple. I want you to imagine that's a ripple on a pond. You've thrown a pebble into a still pond and you've got ripples coming out from it. So there's my purple ripple. Moving away from that, there's my green ripple. and there's my red ripple. Now those values are going to be the same for both. So this is the key learning point from today. I'm trying to cut down the amount of work you do. That green ripple has already got a 2. So on the other side, that must be a 2. I don't need to work it out. I can go and put 2 in there. That red ripple, I've already got that 7. So I can go and put a 7 on the other side. And right in the middle, where imagine you've thrown the pebble into the pond, that is the only value I need to work out. Okay, everything else has been done by symmetry. So just to repeat that, I started off by spotting I had a repeated -1. That gave me my initial ripple on the pond, and then I've just rippled out from that, the green ripple and the red ripple. So the only working out I have to do is for number 2, when x equals 2. All right, the top value equals 2. Now, what does y equal? Y equals x squared minus 4x plus 2. So let's just go and substitute 2 into where the x's are. So I first of all got to do 2 squared, which is 4. I've then got to do minus 4 times 2, which is -8. Then I'm adding 2 on the end, and that gives me -4 add 2, which is -2. So I've got a value of -2 in the middle. Now that bit at the top, guys, filling in that table, is all you will be doing today. But while we are here, if we'd been in lessons, we would be doing the next bit. So I just want you to go and watch the next bit, even though you won't be doing it on Dr. Frost. So the coordinates I'm going to be plotting, all right, are -1, 7. You see, when x is -1, y is 7. That should just be coming through in light blue in a second. I'll just wait for that to come through. Do you see that bit in light blue? That would be the first coordinate I would plot. When x is -1, y is 7. So -1 along the corridor to the left, 7 up. Then 0, 2. Then 1 minus 1. Then 2 minus 2. Then 3 minus 1. Then 4, 2. And then 5, 7. So they're coming through slowly. There's a bit of a lag, but those in me in light blue is just me plotting all those points. And then you would go and join them with a nice gentle curve. And there's your smiley face graph. Okay, so example 1, you were lucky that you had symmetry straight away. As you went and looked at the y values, you were lucky that you already had a repeated y value. The -1s were repeated. What I've just, okay, so you started off with symmetry. We did all the symmetry and then filled in any values which were missing. Okay, now example 2, the difference here is there isn't any symmetry to start with. So you're going to have to start doing some values and just hope for some symmetry. Now, big tip here, guys, don't go and do -3 first. You're probably going to mess it up. Go and do the easy positive values. So I'm going to start off by doing it when x equals 0. So I'm just circling in blue, just waiting for the lag to come through. So when x equals 0. Now this is this example. Y equals, so we've got y equals x squared plus x minus 3 on this occasion. By the way, notice that because it's a positive x squared, it's going to be a smiley face again. Now, what about when x equals 0? So I'm going to put 0 in there and 0 in there. Just waiting for it to come through. There's quite a big lag. There we go. So the question tells us it's y equals x squared plus x minus 3. And I'm going to work out, first of all, when x is 0. So I'm putting 0 into the x squared and 0 into the x. So obviously my y value is 0 squared, which is 0. Then I'm adding 0. Then I'm taking away 3, and that gives me minus 3. So I've worked out that when x is 0, y is minus 3. Now look, that's great news because I've now got some symmetry. I've now got some symmetry. Those minus 3's are repeated. So there is my first ripple, okay? There is my first ripple, minus 3 to minus 3. So the pebble actually on this occasion got thrown in on the line. So let's go and work our way out. Let's go out from that. So that minus 1 will ripple round to there. So that must be minus 1. And my 3 will ripple around to there. So that must be 3. So on this occasion, I had to do a little bit of work before I got the ripples. Okay, then so that's all you're going to be doing today on Dr. Frost, that table filling in. But again, I just want you to see the whole process because the next bit is the bit you're missing out on. So I'm going to go and plot the points, working my way along. First, minus 4, 9. Let's just wait for that to come through in green so you can see what I'm talking about. There we go. I'm going to plot minus 4, 9. So minus 4 along the corridor, 9 up the stairs. That's my green points. Then I'm going to plot my second point, which is minus 3 plus 3. And then the third point, let's do that in brown, which is minus 2 minus 1. And then I'll quickly do the remaining ones. Minus 1 minus 3, 0 minus 3, 1 minus 1, and 2, 3. So on this occasion, my graph looks like that. Now, final point. I just want to remind you, say you got y equals x squared plus 3x plus 6. And let's say, for example, you were filling in a table. So you've got the x and the y values. And you had to work it out for some reason when x was minus 2. When you go and put minus 2 in there, if you're using your calculator, be ever so careful. Minus 2 squared means minus 2 times minus 2, which is plus 4. Now, if you go and put minus 2 squared into your calculator just like that, it will give you minus 4. Because it does the squaring first and then attaches the minus, and that is wrong. All right, minus 2 squared needs to be plus 4. So if you are relying on your calculator to work any of the values out, remember to what's called protect the minors. Put the minus 2 into a bracket, and then it will correctly work it out to be plus 4. Okay, guys, that's all I wanted to go through with you. So I will go and hopefully none of you have started yet. It does say it's due now, so that's good news. So it should be there. It should be waiting for you. So I will just do my usual. I will now stop the recording. And once the recording is stopped, you are welcome to put your cameras on if you want, once the recording is stopped. And